Hey guys, this is Gloria. I am back to share with you guys a project that I completed and to explain a few things to you guys. You guys remember that I did a video about this simplicity pattern number 8067. Excuse me, I have a little tickle in my throat. And I created this little pillow from this pattern. One of my subscribers did let me know that this particular pattern, just for the girls' heads, not these patterns, but this one here, is on Cricut. And if you have a Cricut maker machine, I guess that's what it's called, you can actually have your machine to cut this pattern out, and you can make this pillow as well. And I believe the pattern is $4.99 just for the head on Cricut's website. So just look up girl's head and you'll find that pattern if you want just that pattern. If you want all of the patterns, then you would have to buy the paper simplicity version. But this pattern is no longer being made, so you may have to find it like on eBay or something like that, and that's where I found mine. And I believe I paid $7.99 maybe for it on eBay, or $5.99. I can't remember which one, but anyway, so I did make this little girl, and this is what I made. And so you guys remember me telling you that you don't necessarily need a pattern in order to make this, and I'm going to share with you guys another project that I completed where I made my own pattern and made something that I thought was very cute. So what you're going to need to complete this project, and also to complete that girl pillow, what I use is this Frixion Pilot pen, and these are some of the best pens you'll ever own if you like to do little like toys, you know, sew little toys and different things like that, because you can actually use this pen and mark on your fabric and then use heat to take the marks away. So this disappears with heat, and all you have to do, you don't even have to put the iron on it. You just put the iron close to it and you'll see the ink starting to disappear. So I love using these Frixion pens. I think I found mine at Walmart. You can find them at any office supply store, but these are the erasable Frixion pens, and these I know work well. You're also going to need a needle with some floss or thread on it. I use floss because it's just stronger and it's easier for me to use when I create my applique faces. I don't create appliques on my sewing machine. I do it by hand, and it's super simple using a Frixion pen as well as just a needle with some floss on it. You will need a needle with a larger hole on it, as you can see here. And it has to be kind of sharp. So this is not a dull tip needle. It's a pretty sharp needle because you're going through felt, and especially if you use the inexpensive felt, that has like, you know, kind of like plastic actually going through it. So it's a little bit more difficult to sew if you're using a blunt tip needle. So what I did was I created this little pillow here, and I love the way she came out. I think she's super duper cute. And what I used was the same premise pretty much as the pattern, the simplicity pattern, and I think that she came out really, really cute, and I'm going to share with you guys how I created her. Okay, this is the back side of her right here, and this is her front side, and she has embroidered eyes, and she has little pink what are these things called? Whiskers. And then her little mouth and her nose is heat and bond. So let me share with you guys how I did that. So first off, what you're going to need is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. If you want it to be larger, you can use the 12 by 12. You can make it as big or as small as you want, but I used the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. The first thing that I did was I folded the paper into fours, just like this, real simple, folded into fours. And then I just took my scissors and I rounded the corners, just the edges. So this is the same edge that was on the paper, and I just rounded the corner just like that. I mean, there's no measuring or anything. I just took off as little as I could to round the corners and make this like a rounded rectangle pretty much. And that is my template. So that's all I did. The next thing that I did was I took one of my heart dies. Well, okay, let's go back. So in order to make her little nose, what I did was I took a heart die and I took this pretty gingham fabric, and this is flannel fabric. I backed that with some heat and bond. So I ironed on the heat and bond, and heat and bond can be purchased from Walmart or wherever. So I ironed the heat and bond on the back, and then I cut this out using one of my dies, and I'll show you guys which one I used. And it's just a heart die out of my stash. I just wanted it to be this particular size, so this is the one that I used. So that is the little heart right there. Okay, so I just ran this through my die cutting machine and cut this out with the heating bond paper on the back. Once that was done, I set that aside. Okay, so now you cut 2 layers. You cut the face out of felt, and you cut the background out of whatever material you want. It could be felt, or in this case I used the flannel, the same flannel I used for the front. Okay, so once you have your 2 pieces, you're going to set the back side to the side, and you're going to just work on the face. So for the face, what you're going to end up doing is trying to figure out how you want your face. And all I did was I just drew this on. So each one of my little bunnies is going to look probably different because all I did was just freestyle, drew it on. Okay, so I took my little friction pen, which is this one, and measured out where I wanted the eyes and just drew that right on my felt. Okay, and then with the mouth, I just positioned my little die cut heart that I already had cut out where I wanted it on the face, and then I drew the rest of the mouth. Once you have that the way that you want, and remember, because the friction pen is erasable, if you mess up, you just take a hot iron, put it on there, and it'll disappear, and you can draw it again. As you can see, the eyes are not even symmetrical. The eyes, this one is bigger than this one, but it doesn't even matter because it's a handmade gift. And that's one thing I love about handmade items, is that we're not machines, so it's always going to look a little different, and it doesn't have to be perfect for it to be cute. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to draw on your face. Once you have your face drawn on, now it's time to start embroidering your face. So this is my next piece, and as you can see, I embroidered this eye on already. And so now I need to come back and I need to embroider that eye. And I'm just going to share with you guys really quick how I do that. So as you can see, I have one end. I'm only going to use one whole strand of embroidery floss. You can use 3 strands if you want. You can use 1, whatever you decide to do. I'm just going to put a knot at the end, and honestly, you don't even have to put a knot at the end if you don't want, but I'm going to put a knot at the end, and I'm going to just show you guys simple way to do this. Okay, so I always start in the middle of the eye. Not the middle, but the middle of the face, the beginning of the eye. And I'm just going to take the needle from the back to the front. And I'm going to pull it through. And then I'm just going to go right along the line that I made, the line that I drew. And I'm only using 1 strand. As you can see, it's not double stranded. It's just the 1 strand because this part is still loose. So then I go back in. And I'm just trying to keep my stitches about the same length, meaning coming in and out at the same length here. I'm going to take my needle and put it right down in the middle. No, I'm sorry, not in the middle. At the end of my last stitch, and I'm just going to pull it. Then I'm going to go back through the back again, go right on the line that I created, and I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go right back to the end of the last stitch. And all I want to do is make a chain of stitches so that all of my stitches are joined together. They're about the same length. I don't fuss if it's not. It doesn't really matter to me. But you're just going to go along that line that you drew, and you're going to embroider the eye on. Super simple, guys, all the way around. And you know, if it's your first time, you're going to take it slow, and you're just going to stay on the line that you already drew. It's just that simple. And even after you do this, what you can do, because sometimes you may go off the line somewhere, and if that happens, or if your line is thicker than the floss or thread that you're using, then after you're done, just go and hit it with a hot iron, and your line is going to completely disappear. So you don't even have to worry about the pin marks that you made on your little pillow. Okay, so you're going to just go all the way around until you reach the end, and then you're going to do the eyelashes pretty much the same way. You're just going to use a shorter stitch, because the eyelashes are, you know, they're smaller. You don't, honestly, you can do just the 3 stitches for the eyelashes. You don't even have to make multiple stitches in each eyelash if you don't want to, because when it's all put together, you're really not going to be able to tell the difference of where, you know, if you put a bunch of stitches in it or if you just put 1 stitch in there. So that's what I'm going to do all the way around. I'm going to just do this really quick so I can show you guys the eyelashes, because they're super simple as well. And just depending on, I mean, you can even draw yours without eyelashes if you want. But I just want to show you how easy it is to embroider the eye. And you're going to do the mouth the same exact way. You can do the whiskers the same way, or you can leave the whiskers loose the same way that I did. So I'm at the end of my eye, and now all I have is the little lashes. So you could just go, I'm going to make this longer than the line that I drew. I just went out, and then I came back in at the top of my eye. I'm going to go here, and I am going to put more than 1 stitch in this one, because I want this eyelash to be a little bit longer than the first eyelash. See, like that. And then for my last one, I'm just going to go in, and remember, it doesn't really matter what it looks like on the back, because you're not going to see the back, you're only going to see the front. So that's it, and that's my little eyelashes. And as you can see, they're different on both sides, but it doesn't really matter. This is how it looks on the back. And then all you're going to do is knock this off, and then you're going to move on to the next step. So let's knot it off, and now I can just move on to the next step, which is embroidering the mouth. And you're going to do the mouth the same exact way. You're just going to go in. I normally come in from here and go all the way around here. You can go up, or you can come from here. You can go all the way down one side and then come back and do the other side. It's up to you, however you want to do that. So once you have the face embroidered, it's going to look like this. And in this case, I did the whiskers where they're not just coming out of the face like this one. This one, I did the whiskers loose. I like this way, actually. And you can do it either way you want. If you want the whiskers coming out like this, you're just going to come in from the back. However long you want your whisker, you're going to cut it. Come in through the back, cut it. Come in through the back, cut it, just like that. And then they're going to just fly around like that. In this case, what I did was I just like came in from the back, came out through the front, came down, and then I moved over to the next one, came back, moved. So they are essentially just long stitches, right? So now I have my face. The only thing I would need to put on is my little heart nose, and all you do with that is just put your heart there and use the iron, hold the iron on it, and the heat and bond is going to stick that little nose down to your felt. Once you have that done, you could do your ears. And I'm sorry, I didn't bring over my ears, but I honestly just cut them out however big I wanted them to be. And then I cut this little part here, and I literally just freehand cut it. Okay, and I made the little ears for the bunny. I sewed them together, and then I sewed them all inside of my pillow. Okay, so I just pinched them, sewed them together really quick with a whip stitch, just stuck the needle through and whipped it around, stuck the needle through. So I just gathered it a little bit here. And then when it was time for me to close up my pillow, what you are going to do is you're going to put the pretty sides together. So this is the pretty side of the flannel, the pretty side of the face. You're going to put those together just like this. And you're going to have your ears down inside of here in the inside, which is going to be the outside, but you're going to face them down. You're going to put your ear ending right here. You're going to close this down and you're going to stitch all the way around this entire thing, and just leave yourself about 2 inches or 3 inches at the bottom so that you can turn it. Once you finish sewing it, you just turn it, you're going to stuff it, and then you can either hand sew it, or you can run a stitch. I just ran a stitch down down mine with my sewing machine, which was super simple to do. And so that's about it. I made a bow from one of my dies in my stash to put on her head, and I love the way she came out. So super simple, and like I said, you don't need a pattern to make these really simple, easy little keepsakes. You can actually just make your own pattern using some paper and putting it together. You can also, if you have a Cricut or a, you can also find a bunny template on there, and you could run it through your machine and let the machine cut out your paper, and then use that paper as your pattern in order to make your little bunny head as well. So that is about it, guys. That is how I created my little bunny. I hope that you guys understood what I meant or what I was trying to say. I'm not always the best at explaining things, but as always, if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I possibly can. Take care, guys. Bye.